Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you back. We're here for a quick update. What has been happening since now? We're gonna be waiting for some people to join in. So right now we're looking at the skylines of Haifa, North Israel. Tehran is gonna be loading. Beirut, Haifa again, Tel Aviv, Doha, Qatar, and Tel Aviv again. This is a shout out to Intel Cam OSINT guys. I just love these OSINT guys. Do a really hard work. Great job. These are pictures coming in live. I'm going to refresh this. So the people from South Asia, Southeast Asia, and also I think Middle East now, not the complete Middle East. Dusk has fallen. Night has begun once again. It's early in the morning for our US, Canada, and UK audience. Right now, you can see that the sun is going down slowly over Israel, Beirut, Doha. We're gonna move on to some more live pictures. Live pictures from Tel Aviv skyline as Iran responds. This is Associated Press. You can see the sun is going down slowly. I'm gonna pick up the volume a bit. Yesterday we were having problems with our audio. So you guys, anywhere you hear any disruption, just let me know. Overlapping of voices, just let me know. We're gonna move on really quickly. I'm gonna give up the volume now. Gonna refresh this. So we've got Tel Aviv here on the right side, Beirut here. We can see some smoke coming from here, Beirut. This is another picture coming from Beirut. And we could... okay, so sorry. I think the audio... We can hear some engine noises. It sounded like... So the camera on the right, Tel Aviv, is panning. Looking into the skyline now. We are going to take a look at the videos that have come out till now. Okay, so we're going to move on now. Okay, so these are some pictures. Live feed from Imam Raza Holy Shrine. These are live pictures coming from the Holy Shrine of Imam Raza. You can see night has fallen here. Okay, so now we're going to move on.
Falling from the sky.
This is
The
BBC
US
Live.
military have confirmed 3 fighter jets
This
were
is
mistakenly
BBC
shot
Live.
down by Kuwaiti air defenses. Flat. And a luxury hotel in Dubai, as well as an oil refinery in Saudi Arabia. We've also verified a video of an American fighter jet in Kuwait falling from the sky. The US military have confirmed 3 fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses. The Kuwaiti military said the crew is unharmed. Now, Lebanon has also been pulled into the war. Hezbollah, the Lebanese Shia militia group, which has been backed by Iran, targeted Israel late on Sunday night. Israel responded with a wide-ranging assault. This is verified footage of the aftermath of a strike in Dahia, a southern suburb of the Lebanese capital Beirut. The Iranian Red Crescent has said hundreds of people have been killed in Iran following attacks by the US and Israel across more than 130 cities. But we've not been able to independently verify the death toll. International news organisations are often refused visas to Iran, which severely limits our ability to gather information there. There's still a near total internet blackout in Iran. And countries across the region who've suffered Iran's retaliatory strikes have also reported dozens of deaths, and both Israel and the US have reported fatalities. As tensions escalate further across the region and more countries get pulled into this war, this moment brings great danger and uncertainty, and at BBC Verify will continue to analyse footage as we get it.
That's Melon Thomas reporting there. Well, just in the last hour here in Israel,
Okay, so that was
Benjamin
BBC
Netanyahu has
Live.
been visiting the site of a fatal Iranian
second.
ballistic missile strike on Sunday. Now, this happened at Beit Shemesh between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. 9 Israelis were killed, including 3 teenagers. Let's take a listen to what Benjamin Netanyahu said.
This is the 3rd day of the Operation Roaring Lion, the operation the Israeli army and the state of Israel set out to, with our great friends, the United States of America and President Trump, to thwart existential threats to Israel and great threats to America and the entire world. When I stand here in a place that was bombarded by the terrorists in Tehran against innocent civilians, you see the difference. The tyrants of Tehran target civilians. We target the tyrants of Tehran to protect civilians. I've said for many years that they threaten not only Israel.
We know the game. We know
and
how
if this regime, they get
lies sell over the internet.
To protection, thanks for.
So that was BBC
Well, I want to
Live.
take you
I'm going
from
to take
here
you
in Tel Aviv to Lebanon now. These are live pictures of the
to the
scene
next channel. This is TRT Live.
Hezbollah or Hamas or Shiite militias, it's been weakened, clearly weakened. And it is in a clear position to basically make some very good deals, as Trump would say, with the IAEA and the US about depleting its bomb-making material. And that includes IAEA, that includes monitoring of the kinds of uranium, the levels of enriched uranium it has. So whilst on the one hand, understanding that Iran can absolutely be lying. However, pre the bomb starting to fall, there was great hope and also a move by one and all, with the exception of America, to resolve this
So it says
diplomatically.
Trump says strikes against Iran will take 4 weeks or so. That's
In
a sheer
terms of Isfahan,
miscalculation.
Rafael Grossi, the head of the IAEA, a couple of hours ago said that his organization had no information about any
CENTCOM
nuclear
says more than
facilities being hit.
1,000
And then,
Iranian
subsequently, we've had the
targets hit
report
during the
of these
operation.
explosions around the nuclear facility in Isfahan.
So we're going to move on. Check what France 24 English is saying.
I'm just going to jump in because we do have Pete Hegseth and Dan
It
Kane
says
just come in and they're about
US
to start
and
that conference.
Israeli
We'll get back
attacks
to
on
you just after
Iran.
it's done.
Pentagon chief holds press
Fury.
conference.
The most lethal, most complex, and most precise aerial operation in history. For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran has waged a savage, one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it openly, except for their constant chants of death to America. They did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut, rocket attacks on our ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. My generation of veterans carry the names of brothers who never came home. Brothers butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias, thousands of our own. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
So France
Their
24
war on Americans
is
has become our retribution
talking about the
against
press
their
conference that just
Ayatollah
happened.
and his death.
We're going to move forward quickly. Okay, Al Jazeera. The same thing. I think it's going to be something else now. Okay. Middle East conflict. Qatar Air Force downs 2 Iranian fighter
Our Air
jets.
Force has successfully shot down 2 Su-24 aircraft coming from Iran. Al Jazeera's Zain Basravi is with us now live. Zain, what more do we know?
Well, we've talked about the risk of escalation. We've seen that escalation play out in the first 3 days of this conflict. This would represent a major military escalation. Let me read to you exactly what the Ministry of Defense of Qatar has said. The Ministry of Defense of the State of Qatar announces that thanks to Allah and to the high level of readiness and joint coordination among relevant authorities, Qatar's Amiri Air Force, this is crucial, Qatari Air Force, successfully shot down 2 Su-24, that is Sukhoi 24 aircraft coming from the Islamic Republic of Iran. They also successfully intercepted 7 ballistic missiles through air defenses and intercepted 5 drones by the Qatar Amiri Air Force and the Qatar Amiri Navy forces, which targeted several areas in the state today.
We're going to take a look at the map. You can first listen to this.
Now, they go on to discuss the matter, but this development is very significant for the simple reason that it is one thing for Iran to fire missiles and drones at targets from their land space onto areas here. It is another for an extension of aircraft to come into the waters of the Gulf, to approach the mainlands of another sovereign state, and for them to be combated by another military's aircraft. This represents perhaps the beginning of air-to-air combat, and that is a serious escalation in a conflict that is already spiraling 3 days in.
Zain, in the meantime, what's been going on in Doha? I see the road behind you is looking fairly busy. The skies have been notably more quiet today, apart from a very loud bang at about, 7:30, 8 o'clock this morning.
That is exactly right. For the last 3 days, we've begun the day the same way. Loud bangs in the morning, and those were aerial defense systems. Basically,
so for the people who've just joined us, Qatar is reporting the downing of 2 Air Force planes. They said that the planes belonged to Iran, and the Qatari Air Force has shot them down. We're getting more information on that. We'll see if we can get pictures or any other
threats over the waters of the Gulf. They started doing that yesterday to limit
feeds on
the
it.
debris fall that we saw from Patriot missiles being used to intercept those threats from Iran over effectively populated areas inside Qatar. So,
दोस्ती अपने साथ क्या लाती है? थोड़ी शराब.
Now, from the Qatari point of view, their Air Force now combating what they say were Iranian jets that flew into the airspace around Qatar. 2 Su-24 shot down. They've shot down missiles, they've shot down drones, but going after piloted aircraft that they say were flown in from Iran is a significant step forward, an escalation in this conflict so far.
All right, Zain. Many thanks indeed. Al Jazeera's Zain Basravi reporting live.
A lot of questions. Where are their pilots? Where is the derbies of the plane? We need pictures. We need evidence. Let's see what else we can find on this.
It is just a few seconds before 1600 hours GMT. That's 7 o'clock here in Doha, 7:30 in Tehran. This is Al Jazeera with continuing coverage of the conflict between the US, Israel and Iran, which is spreading fast across the region. Hello, I'm Adrian Finnegan. The latest developments this hour. Qatar's defense ministry has just said that it's downed 2 Iranian fighter jets, intercepted 7 ballistic missiles, and 5 drones. It comes on a day of escalating tension across the region. Tehran has targeted energy infrastructure in Gulf states. Qatar's state-owned petroleum company has halted all production of liquefied natural gas, or LNG, after attacks on 2 of its facilities. The country shares
So we know that
world's
the
largest
Qatar,
natural gas field
Al
with
Jazeera
Iran.
belongs to Qatar. So
Across
the
border
first
in
thing
Saudi
on their
Arabia, the
agenda
kingdom
is
has
talking
shut
about
its
Qatar
biggest
and Qatari
domestic oil
side.
refinery as a precautionary measure. 2 drones targeted Aramco's Ras Tanura facility but were intercepted. Several drones have been intercepted in Erbil in Iraq's
So
Kurdish
for the
region.
people in our
Local
chat,
media
I hear
says
you
that the
guys, I
drones
see
were
you
targeting
guys.
the Erbil International Airport, an airbase, and the US consulate. US forces say they successfully downed all the incoming
Okay, so let's
drones.
move forward. Let's see what
Meanwhile,
other
Israel's
channel are saying.
launched
Let's
more
hear about
strikes
this
on the
first.
Lebanese capital Beirut. It says they were in response to rockets and drones that has Lebanese capital Beirut incoming drones. Meanwhile, Israel's launched more strikes on the Lebanese capital Beirut. It says they were in response to rockets and drones that Hezbollah fired into Israel earlier on Monday. At least 31 people have been killed in the Israeli attacks. One of them, a senior Hezbollah official, Prime Minister Nawaf Salam, says he's banned all Hezbollah military and security activities. The group says its attack was in response to the assassination of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Let's just
Iran
get
has
some
continued
headlines
to
from here,
target
then we'll
sites
move
across
forward.
Israel. The Israeli military says that missiles were intercepted above West Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, and Eilat. At least 10 people have been killed there since Saturday. And in Iran, Israeli strikes have targeted the capital Tehran. The Red Crescent says that more than 130 Iranian cities have come under fire in 3 days. They come as US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth promised that the joint military operation will not become an endless war. Al Jazeera is live in Tehran, Washington, Ramallah, Baghdad, and London. But first,
Okay, so let's move forward.
join my
This is Sky Live. Let's see what they're talking
Change from the
about.
skies ever change the regime?
Looks like the House of
question.
Commons.
This government does not believe in regime change from the skies, and I thank him for his question. The lessons of history have taught us that it is important when we make decisions like this.
You can see Lebanon on the right side of the screen.
What the United Kingdom is doing. That is one of the lessons from Iraq. And that there's a viable, thought-through plan with an objective that can be achieved or has a viable prospect of being achieved. That is the principles that I applied to the decisions that I made over the weekend. They're the principles I applied to the decision not to get involved in the offensive strikes of the US and Israel. They're also the principles I applied separately to the separate decision and a separate request from the US to be able to take defensive action in order to hit the launchers for the missiles that are currently going into allies, countries in the region, and currently threatening our citizens and our
Yeah, so I
services.
hear,
I stand
and
by both of
I'm
those
watching the guys in
decisions.
the
And repeat,
chat box.
I am not prepared to
I
commit
know what
our
you feel and
military
mean.
service people
Keir
to
Starmer
action
just announced
unless I
to
am sure
take part in the
what they're
war,
doing is
giving
lawful
up bases to the
viable basis.
US. That
We can
also
discuss
means
what
a
the law
lot.
is on another occasion.
I'm going to take you
But
back.
the law is what it is, and they deserve to know that their Prime Minister cares and pays attention to whether what I'm asking them to do is lawful. And I will always do that.
Well, the Prime Minister continuing to set out his thought process, why the UK government took the decisions it's made over the last couple of days, just saying in the last few moments there that this government does not believe in regime change from the skies. We're just going to step away from what is being discussed in the Commons to reflect again further on the news that we brought you a short while ago that Qatar says it has successfully shot down 2 Iranian aircraft. Let's bring in our lead international presenter, Yalda Hakim, who is in Jerusalem for us. Yalda, how do you judge the significance of this news coming out of Qatar?
Jane, thank you so much and welcome back to our live and continuous coverage of the developments here
in the Middle East. And Jane, as you've just said, the Qataris say that they've shot down 2 Russian-made jets coming into their airspace from Iran. This is a major development. Now, I spoke to the Iranian ambassador to the UK yesterday, and he described relations with these Gulf states, especially a state like Qatar, as cordial, important. They see them as partners and allies. Even before this conflict began, Qatari authorities were always communicating and talking with the Iranians, but this is a major escalation now. We knew that Iran would be launching missiles and projectiles towards Qatar and into the Qatari airspace because their target really is the American base Al Udeid, which is based in Qatar. And of course, US Central Command is based there as well. But this is a major development. I'm just going to read you the statement that's just come in from the Qatari Ministry of Defense. It claims, as we've said, that its forces have shot down 2 Russian-made Su-24 aircraft from Iran. They say they also successfully intercepted 7 ballistic missiles through air defenses and intercepted 5 drones by Qatar Emiri Air Force and Qatar Emiri Navy forces, which targeted several areas in the state today. The ministry says the threat was addressed immediately as all missiles were shot down before reaching their targets. It also urges citizens,
So the Qatar story is
visitors
making headlines
to remain
now.
calm. So this is
Qatar
a
shooting
major,
down
major
2
development.
Irani
During the 12-day
aircrafts.
war,
We're going to dig into that
we
too.
saw the Qataris coordinate in many ways behind the scenes, working with the Americans, working with the Iranians, especially when the Iranians retaliated against the airbase in Qatar. It was much more coordinated. But of course, we've seen in the last 36 hours or so, we've reached the 57th hour, as the US Defense Secretary said.
We'll
of
move
this
forward now
conflict,
to the
and it
next
does
channel.
feel
This is NBC Live.
Lebanon, which wasn't ruled out by Israeli military spokespeople, or whether or not this is going to cause a more extended conflict. This is something that we don't really know because this is basically a protest move. Hezbollah had said they're doing this in solidarity with the assassination of Ali Khamenei. So maybe this is just them trying to essentially express themselves and don't intend to actually turn this into a bigger conflict. What happens in the next couple of hours and days will determine whether or not we see this getting worse and worse, and the full spilling over of this war between Israel and Iran and the United States into other countries, which we've been seeing more and more.
Now let's talk about what's happening there in Israel, which has been largely fending off attacks from Iran. And we know there was that deadly strike in a residential neighborhood just outside of Jerusalem over the weekend after an Iranian...
Okay, so we'll move on to the other one. This is CBS News Live.
To get from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, along with the CIA Director Ratcliffe. They are coming to the Hill later today to brief the members of the Gang of Eight. These are the members of Congress with the top security clearances, the top leaders in Congress, and also the top leaders on the intelligence committees. They will be briefed today, then full Congress will be briefed starting tomorrow and throughout the week. So a lot of questions they have will be posed to administration officials, and the biggest questions are, what is the scope of this war? And the President and the Secretary of Defense have been calling it a war. What is the scope? What is the duration? And what will be required of Congress in terms of releasing or authorizing more funds? Now, there is a small bipartisan group that has been pushing for a war powers resolution in the House and in the Senate, but those face uphill climbs, Mugo, and alliances have kind of been scrambled here. This doesn't fall neatly on partisan lines. You see, notably, most Republicans lining up behind the president here, even as this is a president who campaigned for the past decade against this kind of intervention. And then on the Democratic side, you have more of a nuanced view. There are some divisions on that side as well when it comes to Iran. You have a handful of Democrats who have said that they won't support this resolution because they are worried that it would limit the president's ability and flexibility when it comes to Iran specifically. So,
okay, we're going to move on to the next channel.
What comes out of these briefings will be significant.
This is DW Live. I'm going to refresh.
On Monday, the first day of trading since the strikes began, oil prices rose sharply. Analysts are especially concerned about disruption along the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important shipping routes.
Iran's Revolutionary Guards have reportedly said that ships are not allowed through the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow passageway between Oman and Iran. Tankers from many countries use it, mostly for transporting crude oil from the Gulf region to Europe, Asia, and North America. The closure of the Hormuz Strait is already affecting global markets and oil prices.
I think the market will continue to fall because given the scenario that the Strait of Hormuz will not be reopened anytime soon, I see a spike in the price of oil, and the entire world will be dragged into a prolonged slump, like what happened after the 1974 oil embargo.
A fifth of the world's oil supply is transported through the Strait of Hormuz. The channel is the second biggest route for oil after the Strait of Malacca and more significant than the Suez Canal. While experts have not been caught by surprise by Iran blocking the strait, they were not quite prepared for its response.
I think there's been some surprise, including by me, about how aggressive Iran has been in attacking what is U.S. personnel and assets in the Gulf states, but still then also civilian infrastructure, civilian entities in those countries. If you add to it pressures from oil and a spike in oil, it makes it much, much more challenging.
It's just days into the US-Israel war with Iran, and the fallout has been immense. So a drawn-out conflict could be devastating for the global economy.
The U.S. strikes on Iran and the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei have prompted strong reactions across the world. Many exiled Iranians are celebrating what they hope could become the end of a tyrannical theocracy. Others, especially Shia Muslims, are enraged by the death of one of their most powerful religious leaders.
Death to Israel, chanted these protesters in the Iraqi city of Basra.
These are the hardest days of our lives. I swear it's a catastrophe, a calamity. I can't express how big the catastrophe is. The loss of the supreme leader has devastated us, harmed us, made us orphans.
In the Iraqi capital, Baghdad,
Okay, so now we're going to move on to... This is Aaron. He's tracking down Air Force jets. Let's see what he has to say.
Much based off of it. Can't judge too much. The airbase in North Carolina used to be Pope Air Base. Now it's Fort Liberty. Fort Liberty. I want to say it's not Fort Liberty though. Let me see. F-15s. Did a video on it. F-15s from base in North Carolina.
You guys see his channel name, Aaron Rains. You can follow him
Seymour
on
Johnson.
YouTube. We're moving
Seymour
on.
Johnson is what I'm talking about, Buck.
This is France 24. Let me refresh.
Will be dragged into a prolonged slump, like what happened after the
CEO of
oil embargo.
Venture Smart. Let's move on. We just saw that. This is Fox Live.
Has failed. I think the U.S. and Israel and our other allies in the region have done the right thing to decimate as much conventional capability the Iranians have as they could. Specifically, I think in the Persian Gulf, I think the attacks on the, the Iranian Navy was really a good idea. And particularly the ballistic missile capability in Iran.
So this is what's going on. This is what's going on in international news. We're going to take you back on the live pictures, the skylines.
I think they've done it right.
And President Trump indicating
I'm just going to refresh this.
Operation Epic Fury could continue.
So you see the sun is coming down in Tel Aviv, in North Israel, South Israel, Beirut, almost there, Haifa.
As well as the top, leaders there in Iran. What is the biggest concern now? We were hearing
I'm going to leave you with these pictures and take a small break.
Stating that a new supreme leader was going to be elected in the next 48 hours or so. But as we take a look at
we'll be looking at some satellite pictures in a while. Cargo ships and the airfield around Iran and the Middle East. Okay guys, so we are back. Let me just take out the flight radar. Let's see what's happening in the airfields in and around Iran. So this is how it looks like. We got flights coming into Turkey, they're flying over to Georgia, Turkmenistan and Afghanistan to come down to South Asia. We got flights coming into Cairo and then the middle of Saudi Arabia and going towards the UAE and Oman border. The rest of this area is completely on a blackout. Iran, you can see the entire air space of Iran completely off. Iraq completely off. Kuwait completely off. Jordan, there's one plane coming from Jordan. Let's see what plane is this. This is Fly Deal. It's going to Riyadh. Israel's airfield has 3 airplanes. You can see the information going to Frankfurt. This is going to Cairo from Beirut. So all these airspaces are just closed. What is this? This is some sort of an ambulance figure coming here on the screen. Let's go check how the Strait of Hormuz looks like. So here is the Gulf of Oman. You can see a lot of traffic here and here. This is the Persian Gulf. A lot of traffic, looks like it's clogged. And then this is the Strait of Hormuz. This is completely empty compared to this. So let's just check out what sort of ships are these. This purple one. This is a Qatari ship. This is an Indian oil tanker cargo. This is another bulk carrier. This is Iran's bulk carrier. This is a tug ship. This is the island of Hormuz. This is Bandar Abbas. What is this icon for? DSMK Diving Marine Underwater Services. Okay. So this is how the Strait of Hormuz looks like. These are your shipping lines, shipping tracks all over the world. This is China, this is India, Pakistan, Iran, Saudi Arab. This is the Suez Canal track. And this is how it looks in the Strait of Hormuz. Let's take you live to Al Jazeera. Let's see what they're saying about their Iranian jets being downed.
Try to be neutral when it comes to the conflict, and some of them didn't want to be part of it. Even they urged America not to intervene militarily, but after being targeted, now they changed totally their position and they want to retaliate in order to protect their sovereignty and to safeguard their dignity. So Iran today is totally isolated in this.
We're going to take you to BBC Live, see what they're doing.
You've described there as possibilities into the future really just suggests that the escalation factor here, things could get very serious very quickly, more serious than they already are.
Things could get more serious, particularly if the Houthis join the fighting and should Iraqi militias look to expand their attacks. But these are all adversaries that the United States and Israel has taken on before and would be capable of responding to.
What do you see the likelihood is here of an immediate diplomatic solution, as has been called for from many members of the international community at this point?
Well, from the indications of recent U.S. officials, it looks like they're continuing with the targeting plan the strikes. So a diplomatic solution in the immediate future does not seem likely to me.
So when we hear the
We're going to head over to Twitter, see what's going on there. This says that unbelievable footage shows what is claimed to be Israeli RA-01 stealth drone flying over Tehran skies. This is open source intel. This has been uploaded just 6 minutes ago, so let's just take a listen.
Epic fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent
I'm gonna
people
speed this
all
up.
across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced. The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands. Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something 2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen. And sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far. But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom and security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will.
I mean, the height of disinformation, the way the media, the officials, even the president is presenting all this. Iran, by the way, was giving up almost everything. This wasn't needed. And I also have a sort of an analysis on this. I'll give it to you at the end of the show. So these are 12 interceptor missiles versus 1 Iranian ground attack missile. And the 1 ground attack missile got through.
Oh my God.
That was massive.
Oh my God.
Okay. Sensitive content warning, horrible scenes coming out of Tehran after the latest round of bombing. Okay, we're gonna miss that. Gonna skip that. Just in, crazy footage shows Dubai just as it was struck.
Alam mo Mare, alam mo si Anggang, hindi ako yung piniplay niya, si Marabi. Kasi sabi niya kanina kay Marabi, 1/4 pa lang daw. Alam mo Mare, alam mo si Anggang, hindi ako yung piniplay niya, si Marabi.
Suleiman Ahmed is a credible journalist. I think it was the impact of the sound wave that comes in later, and then the phone flips backward. Check this out.
Kasi sabi niya kanina kay Marabi, 1/4 pa lang daw.
So whatever it was, I think it was a missile, it just landed, and now the shock waves would enter through the door as well, the brown door. Just keep an eye on the brown door. Wow.
Alam mo Mare, alam mo si Anggang.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward. US soldier reacts at Kuwait base after Iranian drone strikes.
That's my fucking truck.
Okay. This is from Iran. Al Mayadin correspondent Fatima Fatouni reports on Israeli killing 7 members of her own family live on air. I think it's going to be a different language.
كانت تقطن في هذا المنزل في بلدة تول. نتحدث عن هذا العدوان الذي طال المدنيين وهم في منزلهم بشكل مباغت وبشكل مفاجئ.
We're going to move forward. So this happened early in Dubai, showing some power to the residents of Dubai, the UAE Air Force. The UAE Air Force showing some sign, a signature of power over the city. This is Dubai, I think. We're gonna move on and see more footages. CCTV footage shows the moment an Iranian missile struck a neighborhood in Beersheba, Israel. We're gonna move on. We just saw this again. Kuwait-based Iranian drone. We saw this. We have to double check this. This is also happening. We're gonna move on. So here it is. 3 US F-15 fighter jets were downed over Kuwait. Okay, we've covered this. So this is more Pentagon footage showing US hitting Iranian missile launchers.
رمضان مدفع رمضان أذان. Merci.
They say this is Dubai.
رمضان مدفع رمضان أذان. Merci.
This is the video from, it's claiming to be from Dubai. Tourists fled in panic after mistaking the sound of iftar cannon with a missile attack. Pete just crashed out when asked by a reporter why American men and women are being sent to war.
The American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for. Is there a concern of this spiraling into a longer war? And then one for the chairman when you're done.
Did you not hear my remarks? I mean, we're ensuring the mission gets accomplished, but we are very clear-eyed, as the president has been, unlike other presidents, about the foolish policies of the past that recklessly pulled us in to things that were not tethered to actual clear objectives. So we know, we have plans, we have generals, we have chairmen, we have commanders, CENTCOM commanders, Admiral Cooper.
The American people also want to know what they're sending their men and women to war for.
We saw that live, by the way. So there's I want to talk about something. There's a special sort of a video collection going on Instagram now. I feel that the influencers that they let into Dubai and UAE, they were told to make special videos about Dubai and the UAE and Qatar, the influencers there, that life is good, it's still carrying on, nothing happened. So I think inviting influencers on special visas finally paid off. It is paying off on Instagram at least. So this is direct hit of Iranian missile in Tel Aviv. This is Tehran. So this is like 51 minutes ago. Iran launched Sigil missile towards Tel Aviv. So these are the attack spots in Israel and around Israel. That's quite a lot. This is more video shows the alleged Israeli attack on Lebanon. I'll show you again. A US-Israeli strike targeted a residential area in Sarabli, forgive me for my pronunciation, killing at least 5 Iranians, including a 10-year-old child. So this is hundreds of vehicles were lined up in Sidon as people fled South Lebanon, a major new front in US-Israeli war opened against Hezbollah. Let's see what they're saying.
Ansar, we are originally from Ater al-Shab. We left at 3 a.m.
We want to live in stability, to continue our lives. We have children, we have babies, we have sons. We want to live. This is our goal, honestly.
So let me just take you to the map and see and verify Qatar's claim first, and then we'll check out the map of these guys leaving Lebanon. Where are they going exactly? So this is Iran over here, and this is Qatar over here. This is Iran and this is Qatar. Qatar says that it shot down 2 Irani fighter jets, which were Sukhois. So that means they were flying here to here somewhere, crossing the Persian Gulf. We also miss our friend Ehsan Safarnejad. He lives in Shiraz. This is his hometown over here. There's no internet. We're trying to get through to him. So now let's check out Lebanon. This is south of Lebanon, Sidon. This is the same city that we just saw in the news report, they are fleeing from the south side and going to the north side. Okay. Let me take you back to the skyline of Israel, Qatar, and Iran. Let's see what's up. So night has finally fallen here. It's dark, except for Beirut and Haifa, Israel. We're gonna check out